Check. Good. So I'm Max Ceron. Max Ceron, CWB Association Welding Podcast. Today we have a really cool guest, Welding Podcast.
The show is about to begin.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the CWB Association Podcast. Today I am in beautiful New Brunswick and St. John here for today's skills competition. So this week we're going to be interviewing a number of people from different trades throughout the week that are involved with Skills Atlantic and also in the trades and getting the heartbeat of what's going on here in Atlantic provinces. Right now I have Bella Hicks with me, who is a welder, who is a wet program grad and works in the industry. Bella, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So first of all, I love your name, Bella.
Thank you.
I'm sure you hear that all the time.
I do. I also get that's my dog's name a lot.
Well, that I do have friends who's also, but my name's Max, so I get that a lot too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And Bella means beautiful in Italian, right? You know
It does.
that? Yeah.
Bella.
Yeah. Yeah, see there, I'm my Italian co-editor, podcast manager here. All right, so let's start with what you're doing out here at NBCC today. What brought you out here?
Yeah, I'm out here with the company that I'm working for right now, CAM. I'm located at the St. John refinery right now. I'm doing welding inspections. So they wanted someone from industry to come out, kind of represent what they're doing. So I set up a booth for a try trade for some younger high school kids to come out and try it out. So we have some little specimens set up. They can come try looking at welds, measuring stuff, kind of what we do on a daily basis. And I got a little questionnaire set up for them. Yeah.
Trying to recruit the next generation of inspectors?
Pretty much, yeah. Trying to get people to stay here and get some jobs in New Brunswick, you know.
Well, that's what we've been talking about. You know, it came up as a topic a few times, is the work in New Brunswick, right? The rest of Canada kind of has this idea that there isn't work out in the Maritimes.
Yeah.
You know, because we typically see all the people in the Maritimes, the tradespeople, come out during shutdown season out west.
Yep.
Right? It's a very common theme that we get people from Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, PEI showing up in Alberta and Saskatchewan around May for shutdown season.
Yep.
Which makes us all think, well, they must not have any work out there. But that's not true, is it?
No, it's not. Like, and I know when I was going through school, the entire idea was, I'm going to go out west and make money. I'm going to go out to Ontario and make money. I didn't know there was so much job opportunity here. You just kind of got to get your foot in the door and look for it. And once you make a good name for yourself, it's pretty easy to find some work.
Yeah, everyone that I've talked to has basically said that they've never had problems finding work, actually.
No. Yeah, you can bounce around here. We got the refinery here for industrial work. You can start doing, I worked at a couple fabrication shops. You can bounce around at the mills and stuff. Like, once you get going, you can can find some good work.
Now, the program you took with the Welding Engineering Tech program, the WET program, that's something that's not offered everywhere in Canada. So
no, it's not.
It's out here in the Maritimes, and not all of the provinces, in a couple, I think, or maybe even just in New Brunswick.
I think it's just in New Brunswick. Well, they have one program in Newfoundland, and they have one program at the NBCC in Moncton.
In
New
Moncton,
Brunswick,
right.
Yeah.
And then aside from that, it's Ontario and Alberta, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm in Saskatchewan, and we don't have that program. And every time I meet someone who's gone through that program from any of the provinces, it really seems like a great program. Now, talk to me about your program that you took here, and what was it about?
Yeah, I took the program in Moncton. That's where I'm originally from. So I took that program right out of high school, and I clicked in it pretty much right off the bat. Like, I really wanted to get into welding, but I really wanted to find out like the why and the science behind welding as well. So that's why I took the weld tech program, because we start out doing some welding, and then in the second year we really dive into the inspection parts of it and how everything kind of works, right?
Yeah, the metallurgy, the background of it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I really enjoyed the program. I still have really great relations with all the instructors, and you know, if I ever need anything, they're always there for me, and great. Yeah.
Now, why welding at all? I mean, you know, for someone coming up in New Brunswick, there's probably lots of opportunities in different areas. You're like, I mean, the fisheries and the marine life out here is something in itself. You know, what attracted you to get into the welding trades? You said you wanted to get into it right out of high school.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I've always been interested in working on cars, working on older vehicles, and it was just something I was brought up around. So when I was in high school, I started taking automotive classes as soon as I could. And when I started doing that, we started doing some auto body work, so just repairing panels or basic welding. And I fell in love with it right off the bat. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to do the skills competition and everything. It was pretty cool.
Did you do skills for auto body?
No, I didn't. I didn't end up doing it. I wasn't good
No.
enough.
But you wanted to.
Yeah, I wanted to. But I was just starting. I didn't really understand anything about welding. It was just kind of like a cool concept to me, and I really liked it. So when I was in my automotive class, I really kind of put my mind to starting welding after school. I wanted to take the welding program, and it was actually my instructor in high school that said maybe you should take like the weld tech program. Like I know somebody who's taken that, and they're doing really well for themselves. It's a 2-year program, so it's a little bit longer, but you kind of understand like the why things work, how things work. You get to know everything. It's easier to problem solve, I guess, when you're welding and you know what's going on, why you're getting these issues, or not getting the product that you want. So I kind of looked into that. I went to the open house for the weld tech program, and it just kind of clicked, and so I signed up and got in.
Why weld tech and not just welding? If you were looking to just do if you fell in love with welding, was there something that you looked at both the programs and thought this one looks cooler than that one?
Well, yeah, like I said, I kind of just wanted to know like the why behind it. And I really liked kind of being in the lab and those kinds of things. Those interested me as well. And my entire time that I was in the welding technology program, I was like, I'm just going to go out and be a welder. I didn't want to be an inspector.
Yeah.
I kind of saw it as like, you shouldn't coach a sport you don't play. First kind of thing. So I was like, I want to be a welder. I want to do that. So every chance that I got, I was like trying to get jobs at fab shops or working wherever, practicing at home all the time, So I did that. And, but basically I took the course because I wanted to understand the science behind it. I kind of, that show How It's Made or whatever. I loved that as a kid.
Everyone loves that show, yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of like that, but in a course. It was really awesome.
Well, I know that, I taught welding for a long time and lots of the students would be like, why do we need to learn metallurgy? What's the point of learning metallurgy, right? And I was like, you can go a long way in your career without learning metallurgy, but it's the ultimate problem solver.
Yes, exactly.
Because you're not going to ever really figure out what's wrong with your weld or what's happening unless you know metallurgy. Because otherwise you're just turning knobs, right? It's just like, oh, more voltage, less voltage, or more this, more that, less that. And it isn't until you actually understand the metallurgy, what's happening in the weld, that you can just look at it and be like, okay, it's probably this or that or this.
Yep.
Because you can start to problem solve, right?
Yes, exactly. And that's exactly why I wanted to take the course too. Like I had went to the open house and kind of asked those questions to the instructors, and they were like, yeah, we deep dive into everything that goes on in welding, like why things happen, why you're getting the results you want or don't want. And I really liked that. I thought I'd learn a lot more that way. So that's just the route that I chose to take.
And you said it was a 2-year course, right?
Yes.
Because I know some of the wet programs in Canada are sometimes 3 now.
Yeah.
Right now, sometimes they've added. I think some of them have added robotics or automation to a few of them.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be a 3-year course, and they condense it into a 2-year course. So we kind of do like a sped up version at the NBCC in Moncton. I know their intentions behind that is to basically just make it so that you feel that pressure that you'd feel in the industry. Like when I'm working at a job, it's like, it's very high pace. You need things now. You need to be thinking like 3 steps ahead.
You're the one holding up the job, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they want to simulate that in the course, right? So everything is like that. Like you're staying up really late to finish projects that are due the next morning, and then you're repeat doing that all again, right? So
sounds stressful.
It was very stressful, but I appreciated the stress, the simulation of that, because that's what I do every day in my job now, right? So if you can't make it in the course, probably, wouldn't do as good in the industry. So.
Now, you said you tried to avoid becoming an inspector, but then it happened.
Yes, it did. So, my entire intentions behind the course, I was like, I immediately when we finished the course, we have the opportunity to take the CWB level 1 exam, the welding exam. So I took that right off the bat. Past that, and then I immediately went back for my work term. I worked at a small fabrication shop in Moncton called McSheffrey's. So I worked there. They ended up offering me a job. I took that for the summer, and I got a call from a shop in St. John saying that they were looking for inspectors and they wanted to hire me. And it it was a little bit more money, and I
Mhm.
honestly was like, you know what, maybe I should just dive into this. And
Try
I,
it. Yeah.
yeah, and I can always fall back on welding if I wanted to, but I wanted to try something else. I was born and raised in Moncton, kind of wanted to move out of my hometown too,
Mhm.
so it was kind of an opportunity to do it. So I just jumped on it, I guess.
Yeah. And how's the transition been? Have you enjoyed it?
Actually, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. So I started out when I first got to the company that I was working for in St. John's, CFM. I was doing just NDE, so we did like small shutdowns at the mills, or I was traveling back and forth to different companies. We went to Cavendish Farms and PEI, just doing small inspections like UT inspections,
Hmm.
mag particle inspections, stuff like that. I did a little bit of radiography, liquid penetrant, all those kinds of welding or inspections,
Inspections.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did that, and then it came around the slower season for us, so it's winter. So I took a little bit of time off to do some courses, and then they basically told me that I had an opportunity to go to the refinery to do some quality control inspections. So I jumped onto that, and then I've been there ever since, and that's what I do now, QC, quality control inspections. So, and I love that. I love going to work, actually. It's pretty cool.
Well, when I came in yesterday on the flight, it was like 1 a.m. I was flying into St. John, and the taxi driver taking me to the hotel, and I saw the refinery. I could see the glow of the refinery
Yeah.
from the airport. And I'm from Regina. We have a refinery too, and it's big work, right? In anywhere there's a refinery, there's a lot of work attached to it,
Yeah.
especially for the welding community. We just actually had a blowout in Regina at our refinery last month.
Oh, really?
It's pretty scary, but no one got killed, which was nice.
Hmm.
But it just goes to show, like, refineries are a constant state of repair,
Oh, yeah.
like constant. People
Yeah.
don't realize the wear and tear high pressure piping has on it,
Hmm.
especially when you go from summers to winters and winters back to summers. Everything's outside. Everything's, there's thousands and thousands of kilometers of piping in these refineries. And I learned today that it's one of the largest refineries in Canada.
In Canada, yeah.
Yeah.
I think in North America too.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. But yeah, it is. It's a big place, and it's a lot to maintain. We have 24/7 coverage. I've worked day shift, night shift.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have 24/7 coverage for the refinery. It's a lot to do. I remember you saying that you saw the glow of the refinery. I remember
Yeah.
when I first came here, it was dark. I came up here, I was finishing my course, and I was doing a shutdown here.
Mhm.
Anyway, and we were driving around with one of my friends that came from St. John,
Mhm.
and I said, "Oh, is that uptown? Is that the city?" And she said, "No, that's the refinery." It's like I was so blown away. It was huge, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you know what kind of fuels they make at the refinery here? What kind of stuff they do?
I don't deep dive into that stuff too much, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Just curious. Yeah.
just yeah. Honestly, I would probably be misquoting if I told
Yeah.
you so.
Yeah. Now,
But
what kind of work do you do there? Like, what's the typical day look like for you
yeah,
at the refinery?
yeah. So when I come in, I'll come in the morning. We kind of have like a meeting in the morning to see what jobs are going to be on the go, what
Mhm.
repairs. So I do maintenance right now. I do turnarounds sometimes in the fall or in the spring, whatever's going on. But day to day, I just do the general maintenance repairs. So we go in, we have a meeting about what's going to go on, what jobs we're working on today, and then we get a work packet. Basically, it's just the entire job is planned out, and you just kind of make sure that everybody's following the steps. Do your quality surveillance, quality control, make sure the jobs are running smooth, everything's up to code,
Mhm.
and yeah.
How much or how big of a part of your NDE job is safety related?
Um, a lot.
I just stumped you because that's a kind of a tricky question
Yeah.
because so much of inspection is related to safety,
Yes.
but not directly, right? And
Yes.
it's kind
Oh,
of a
yeah.
weird overlap, right?
Yeah, so right now with me doing the quality control, I just organize the NDE. So I'll get like the NDE technicians to come in
Hmm.
and do some work for me, I guess. And then they submit a report basically saying if it accepts or if it fails, right?
Hmm.
So, but with high pressure piping, like we have there's a lot of responsibility on you, right? Like you said, in those accidents in Regina, like
Yeah.
there's stuff that happens like that all the time at
Mhm.
refineries. Luckily, at the refinery here, we've been like safety is our top priority, right? So
Yeah.
we haven't had very many issues, but um, for sure, like I take safety as like a big thing, especially with NDE. It's always like that thing you fall back on, right? Like you can weld something, you can look at it and it can look all great, but as soon as you do radiography on it, you might not be able to see something that's internally wrong with it, right? So it really can save your butt. I mean, you know.
Now, you got into the program young. Like I have here written down that you took the program at 19 years old, right? So like
yeah, that's when I graduated. Yeah,
right. So like you're out in the world at 19, fresh ticket, and you're out there to prove yourself. First of all, that's young for anybody, period. But how was that for you as a young woman to try to get out there and be like, hey, listen to me. I have a cert. I'm going to tell you your weld failed. How do you feel about that?
Yes, exactly. No, for sure. Because I mean, I have a later birthday in the year. So when I graduated high school, I was 17, and then I did the 2-year program. I graduated 19, and then pretty much started working right off the bat. Right. So, being a young woman, it was definitely a little bit intimidating, but once you kind of get into it and develop a relationship with the welders or the fitters or the tradespeople that you're working with, you kind of develop like a trust or a bond. You know, they know that you're there to make sure that they're doing their job right, and to kind of be a second set of eyes as well. And you know, you learn to trust them and learn their tips and tricks and techniques that they use, right? So, I've definitely run into a couple issues sometimes, but I mean, in the general gist of it, people are a little bit questioning at first because, like you said, I'm young, I'm a woman, you know. So, but in general, I've had pretty great experiences once you develop that trust and relationship with the tradespeople.
Do you have other female inspectors in the company with you that you work at?
Currently, right now, there's none. There's just me. But when I first started at the refinery, there was 2 other girls that I was working with, and yeah, we pretty much had only 3 inspectors at one point, and they were all 3 girls, so called it the hen house.
Where'd they go off to?
One of them is on maternity leave right now, and the other one, she just she ended up going out west to work for a little bit, and now she's working directly for Irving at the refinery as well. She's just doing a different inspection position. Right.
Yeah. Now, in your work, is it very seasonal? Is there a lot of up and downs, or is it pretty steady?
For the maintenance work, it's steady all year round.
Yeah.
We do have slower seasons, given in the winter and stuff. After shutdown ends in the fall, we usually have a slower season in the winter, but it picks right back up in the fall. So some people do get laid off in the slower season. But you'll be picked right back up after a couple weeks or a couple months. Depends what's going on too, how many projects are on the go at the refinery and stuff. But it's typically it's like year round work.
Now you said you have people report to you and bring you reports. So I would assume that means you're a level 2.
Yes, I am. Yep.
So when did you go back to do your level 2, and how was that?
That was my level 2. It was good. I went back. I think it's almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago now. I went back as soon as I could. You have to develop a certain amount of hours being a level 1, right? And you have to get someone to sign off on you. So as soon as I had those hours, I took it. Yeah. Just to see, and I passed. Luckily on the first time.
It's tough.
It's
a lot harder than the first one.
I agree. It was a very challenging exam, but it was a good refresher to kind of be studying for it. And you go take your level 1 exam, you go out into the industry, and then you kind of forget a couple textbook things, right? Yeah. So it was a great refresher, but it was definitely a challenging exam.
I find that one of the things that's nice about the inspection exams now, as opposed to a million years ago when I took them, is that now it's all on PDFs on computers.
Yes, yeah.
So you can actually just use the search function on PDFs to help you narrow it down. I don't know if you did that or not.
Yes, I did, yeah.
But it makes it a lot easier to find something, whereas before you'd literally have to remember where it is in the book, which sucked.
Yes. When I went to go take my exam, actually there was a couple older guys there, and they had a giant binder, and they were flipping through. They just had the printed textbook because they didn't know how to use it on the computer. And I was like, wow, that's kind of impressive to just remember where everything is, different codes.
I could never do that.
No, I know.
I'm always just search 47.1, whatever, it'll come
exactly.
up.
Some people have that kind of photographic memory, though. I know a couple guys that I can call them up, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's at this paragraph and this code, and you look exactly at this table. Yeah, I wish I was like that.
Yeah, not all of us are that smart.
No.
So. Now, in terms of your involvement in the community, do you try to do anything as a mentor, as a female mentor? Do you work with women? Do you ever do anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, I had great mentors that were men actually for me when I was in high school and stuff. Like I said, my my teacher that was teaching automotive. Like he was a great mentor for me. He really pushed me to just get into the industry and not be afraid to do something right
Yeah.
with the trades. I try to be something like that for, I guess, younger women, like getting opportunities like this to talk on the podcast or to go do the try a trade here at Skills Canada. You know, anything I can kind of get my foot in the door and kind of be like a positive light for especially younger girls. It's not something scary, you know, like you can do it, right?
Well, the trades is only 4% women, or, the steel trades, and it's the worst of all. And I bring it up in a lot of episodes because it's always like, I love getting the perspective of what do you think we could do better in the industry? Because everyone's got a different angle. Everyone's got a different piece of the industry that they work in, right? And for a long time, I think we've been working really hard at recruiting, but now it's like, what can we do to help them stay? You know, what is it that we're missing, and what can we do better?
For sure. I find that a lot of people before they go into the industry, like I've had very many positive experiences being in the industry, working with just men all day or whatever, right? Like I've been fortunate to not have very many negative experiences. I have heard people have, but I think that to get people to stay into it, honestly, I think it might just develop over time. I think people right now are still a little bit afraid. Women might be a little bit afraid to go into a room and it's just all men there. And you're trying to tell them what to do, right? Like I totally get that. But once you get over that stigma, I find that it's not too bad. So
there's a job that needs to be done. The job is the job.
Exactly, right, exactly. It doesn't matter who you are, like as long as you're getting your job done and doing it right.
So that ties into like the Atlantic, skills competitions. You said you wanted to do skills when you were younger. Not good enough. I don't know if I believe you, but okay, okay. Now, how are you involved in skills since then?
So my best friend Courtney, she runs the Skills Canada in New Brunswick here. So any chance I get
Courtney Donovan?
Courtney Donovan,
Yeah.
yes.
I've known her for a long time. I was in Russia with her.
Oh, really? Were
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I heard that was a pretty fun trip.
It was awesome.
She took a picture with the Game of Thrones chair and stuff. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Courtney's awesome. She's one of my best friends. So she kind of helped me get involved when I was in college. That's where I met her. So we did some mentorship for young girls getting into the trades in high schools and stuff. We'd go around and teach them like just basic stuff about setting up a welding machine, running a bead, like just basic stuff just to get them involved and kind of promote them getting into the shop, getting their hands dirty, right? So I do that, and then anything else Courtney kind of asked me to it's gonna photo op over there.
paparazzi.
Yeah, right. Crazy. Yeah, anything else Courtney pretty much gets me to get into, like coming out here, doing the try a trade or doing any judging for their welding competitions and stuff. I try to be involved that way.
Awesome. Well, let's take a quick break here for our advertisers, and then when we get back, I want to talk more about Skills Atlantic and what's going on here, because I think it's a wonderful thing to promote the trades, and I want to get your view on a few things. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here with Bella Hicks here on the CWB Association podcast.
The CWB Association is new and improved and focused on you. We offer a free membership with lots of benefits to anyone interested in joining an association that is passionate about welding. We are committed to educating, informing, and connecting our workforce. Gain access to your free digital publication of the Weld magazine, free online training, conferences, and lots of giveaways. Reach out to your local CWB Association chapter today to connect with other welding professionals and share welding as a trade in your community. Build your career, stay informed, and support the Canadian welding industry. Join today and learn more at cwbassociation.org.
And we are back here on the CWB Association podcast. I'm here with Bella Hicks at NBCC. Like I said earlier, we're out here for the Atlantic Skills Competition, and we're a part of the welding world. We're a part of the welding trades. You yourself took a wet program and are a level 2 inspector at the upgrader. What is it that you hope to do this week? What work are you doing here?
So like I said earlier, I'm doing the try to promote some high school kids.
And that's with your company,
yes,
which is an inspection company,
yes,
right?
exactly, yeah. So I'm doing that to try to promote some people to get into the inspections, get into the trade world. And then I'm also helping out with the judging for the welding competitions, I believe, this afternoon and then tomorrow as well.
So both the post-secondary and the
secondary, yes, yeah.
Have you judged before?
I did when I was in college. We had the provincial competitions at the NBCC Moncton, so we just
Mhm.
had them for the welding students there, see who was going to be moving on to the provincial competitions. So we did an in-house inspections and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So pretty excited.
Are you pumped?
I am pretty excited to see what's out there.
What do you? Which one's easier for you to judge, the secondary or post secondary?
Probably the post-secondary,
Yeah,
so
I
the
agree.
apprentice.
I was talking about it with the UA guys earlier. It's like I love the secondary competitions, the high school kids. I mean, they're adorable. I don't know how else to say it. I love seeing the young welders come up and working so hard. Like I mean,
For sure.
they're trying so hard, but you could also tell they're still in high school, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I like the post-secondary too because working in the industry and stuff, this might be somebody that you run into in the
that's
near
right.
future, right? So you
Mhm.
get to kind of see where they're at right now, and maybe you'll meet them 5, 10 years down the road or a year down the road and kind of see like, oh, they're kind of honing their skills now, right?
Mhm.
So
One of the things I've
cool.
always noticed after years now of being involved with these things, decades, God, I'm old, is that even the ones that just show up to these competitions, like you're not even going to place top 10, but you're here, you're trying, you're competing, though you're already steps ahead of someone who didn't.
Yep.
You already have an advantage in the industry. You're probably going to get out there and get a better job and make more money because you're willing to put your neck out there, right?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I think that goes a long way just to like you said, put yourself out there. It definitely gives you that kind of advantage in just like your attitude and your work
Mhm.
ethic, I find.
Right.
Yeah. I tried to do like the in-house competition when I was in high school, just with the welding students. Some of the weld tech students did the welding as well.
Yeah.
I had been practicing for weeks. And then when I got there, it just didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. So I didn't end up moving on. But
Mhm.
anyway, I did that, but it was just looking back on it, it was just like the mindset just to go and try something and put yourself out there. So
What are the things that you need for these type of things? Because it's a competition, right? Is that competitive spirit, that desire to win and to compete against other people and see where you are. How important have you seen that be in your career? When you're out in the workplace, when you're out in the field, that competitive spirit amongst welders.
for sure, I think there's a very big competitiveness with welders for sure because I mean you're getting into an industry and there's thousands and thousands of other people that are kind of like could be a lot better than you, could be a lot worse than you, whatever. So
Mhm.
I think it's really important to kind of have that competitive edge, especially as an apprentice, like practicing at home, taking your days off, and maybe going to your welding hall if you're in a union, and practicing and kind of
Mhm.
just if you have that competitive edge, you just might be a little bit better than the next guy, and you
Mhm.
might end up keeping your job, right? So
Right.
I think it kind of ultimately comes down to that.
And what about as an inspector? Do you find that it changes much?
For
For the competitiveness, do you try to be a better inspector than the inspectors around you? Are you
I
trying
mean,
to
I'm
out
just kind of
inspect
like
them?
that, but yeah, I definitely do try to put myself there as like having good work ethic. It's always just been like a pride thing for me. Like I just don't
Mhm.
like leaving something unfinished or doing something half, I guess, say
Yeah.
it better or worse. But so I don't know. I guess there's not as much competition as like in the welding industry, I guess, for that way. But I'm not trying to out inspect anybody. But I
How many inspections have you done
done
today?
today. I did 24.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's not more so about that. It's more so just about like having tidy work, making sure that
Clean documentation.
exactly
Yeah.
right. Like if you're doing a package and you have everything organized, if the next guy picks it up, he should know exactly where you left off, right? Not
Yeah.
leaving everything in a mess and just taking pride in your work, honestly.
Hmm. And where do you see yourself going with your inspection game? You went from level 1 to level 2. Do you see a level 3 in your future? Not a lot of people go
Not a
that
lot of people
far.
do that
No,
route, yeah.
no.
I really don't know. I'd like to do a couple API tickets.
Okay.
I'm
Like your 650s and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it depends where I end up going. I really like my job at the refinery right now, doing like the maintenance gig and doing the turnarounds and stuff. So I stick around here. Yeah, I might look into doing my CWB level 3. I think that could be in the near future, but I don't know if I travel around, bounce around. I could look at doing different other avenues, getting some API tickets, maybe doing a couple other code endorsements with
Like your
CWB.
ASMEs or
Exactly,
your
right.
B51s. And
Yeah.
although I heard there's there's some pushback on the new 51 updates. I always hear,
really? Interesting.
every time there's code updates, there's always it trickles down over time.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of different codes out there. Out here, I don't know. Does Lloyd's still push around here for shipbuilding? Because
there's not as much shipbuilding around here because they shut down the shipyard here. But there definitely might be in Halifax where they have a big shipyard there.
Yeah, I've been out to those Halifax shipyards. They're cool.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. But I mean, Irving is everywhere out here.
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Like even the gas stations everywhere.
I know.
I always forget how big of a company Irving is.
Yeah.
Until I'm back out here.
It's almost as popular as the Tim Hortons on every corner here.
Yeah, but hopefully they're better because I don't like Tim Hortons coffee very much.
Yeah, no. More McDonald's coffee.
I am more of a McDonald's coffee. Sorry, we're not sponsored by either of those companies, but I mean, if McDonald's wants to sponsor, we're here.
I'll take the free coffee.
Yeah, I'll take the free coffee for sure. So if you're not looking to get that level 3, do you see yourself at the refinery a long time? Are you happy with the gig? You're so young. I'm sure you probably have some things that you'd like to check off the bucket list.
Oh yeah, there's definitely like a bucket list of things I'd like to do. But it's from talking to other inspectors and tradesmen who've traveled and stuff, like you're really fortunate to work like 40 hours a week and come home every night. There's not as much traveling and stress financially, like when's the next shutdown kind of thing. So I get a lot of overtime, don't get me wrong, but if I wanted to just work the 40 hours a week and go home every night and have my weekends off, and
you're making a decent living at
exactly right.
I mean, overtime's always nice for welders because it's extra money, but it's scary when you need overtime to survive. Yes. That's not what you want. Mm-mm. You want your normal 40 to cover life.
Yep.
Anything above and beyond is above and beyond, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm really fortunate to have something local that I'm able to do that. So I could see myself staying there for a while, but I mean, if anything happens, I'd love to travel and bounce around and
have you done any traveling? Have you gone anywhere else?
Not to work, no. I mean, I've gone to smaller other Atlantic provinces, Nova Scotia or PEI to do the odd NDE job or whatever, but no big traveling, nothing like that yet. Not yet.
You're open to it?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely open to it.
What about for your hobbies? Is there anything that you do? Because I mean, just this morning, we interviewed someone, Sarah, and she does metal art, and there's so
Sarah,
much.
She's awesome. I love Sarah Thorne.
Yeah, and it's something that I've never really gotten into, but I've always found it so interesting that people that are in the welding community also are often so creative. They have a creative side to them, and maybe I'm just the weird one that doesn't have that very well, but. Are you also in that bucket where you have a creative side?
Oh yeah, for sure. I play a couple of instruments. I play guitar, I play piano.
Does that count? Because I play instruments.
Yeah, that's a creative side.
That counts.
A creative outlet for sure.
Right,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. So but you're definitely right. I find that a lot of creative people get into welding. It's almost like you said, Sarah, doing the metal art on the side. That's a really big thing in our industry too, and I've noticed that a lot. I find creative people often have steady hands too. Either from playing instruments or drawing or painting or whatever. And patience for sure,
That's a thing,
that makes a good welder.
Art makes you patient because, trying to learn that song on guitar, man, sometimes you just want to throw that thing out the window.
Yeah, I've been there. I've definitely smashed a few guitars over songs.
Over sad songs, or the romantic songs, over broken hearts.
Pretty angry songs.
And what about cars? You said you loved cars. You grew up around cars.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
I'm a car guy. I've had over 30 vehicles. My whole life, I love vehicles. I've been waiting to pull my cars out of storage right now, but it's still snowing in Saskatchewan. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just took mine out of storage, actually. I have 3 vehicles right now. I just bought a new truck. Well, it's new to me. It's an older truck. It's a 75 Ford. I just bought that on Monday. I was going to bring it out here actually, but my starter just went, so.
And 75 Ford.
It's a F100.
F100, so that's 302 or
it has a 390 in it.
The 390. Oh, that's a great engine.
Yeah.
Heavy and low, but it's good.
Sounds pretty good.
But
too,
that starter is going to have a separate Bendix on it. It's a solenoid. It'll be that's good and bad.
Yeah, something I'll probably get into tonight and end up working really late on. So.
I got a 2019 Mustang, a Roush.
Oh, do you?
Which is pretty fun. But I love all cars. I've had all the makes, all the brands. I'm not like a Chevy guy or nothing like
Yeah,
that.
neither am I.
Because they're all fun. They all got their own little quirks to them that are cool.
Yeah, totally. I got a couple GMCs too, and then I
Yeah.
have this is my first Ford, but I mean, I'm not a brand person either.
Yeah. Like I have a Chevy truck and a Ford Mustang, so whatever.
I kind of consider, like, if you're into the cars too, like that's kind of like an artsy side to you. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like vehicles are art, right? So,
Yeah, I used to like customize it when I was younger. I was really big into like dropping them down, lowering them, big stereos, all that cool stuff.
nice.
But I mean, it's one of the luxuries that you can have as a welder because you can afford hobbies like that.
Yes,
Right.
exactly
It's
right.
one of the things I always tell young people about getting into the trades, especially women, because when you look at the list in society of like things that make life difficult, economic security, financial security is like number one,
Yeah, for sure.
right? Because if you can't afford to live, you're not dreaming. You're not thinking about the future. You're not thinking about hobbies. You're not thinking about art. You're
Yeah.
not thinking about these things. You're just thinking about surviving.
Yeah.
And the trades give you that luxury, afford you the luxury that hard work will allow you to go buy a 1975 Ford 100
Yeah.
and make it a project vehicle. Why? Because you can,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And that's fun. That's great.
Yeah, I definitely have been really fortunate, like getting into the trades. You work long hours. You're gonna miss out on family events and
Mhm.
holidays and stuff like that sometimes. But I've been really fortunate. Like I'm only 24 right now. I just bought my first house in November, and it's been
Mhm.
kind of like a crazy time for housing and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
that's wild, right? So many
yeah.
24-year-olds are struggling around the world right now.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's kind of crazy, I guess. But yeah, I've been pretty fortunate enough to have a job that lets me do that, and the trades are definitely it if you want to have some financial security.
Yeah, and like I mean, I don't know if fortunate's the word. You're hardworking,
That
right?
is true. Yeah.
You build your own luck. You know,
Mhm.
you say you got to be good to be lucky, and lucky to be good, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where we try to tell people, and like you said it best. Yes, there's hard days work. You might miss birthdays. You might miss whatever's. But what do you gain, right? Like you gain so much on the backside, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I totally agree.
So what's next for this week? You know, you got the judging today, judging tomorrow. You got the booth, and then that's it. Back home, then back to work on Monday.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
The dream is over.
The dream is over. Yeah. Yeah, I don't got much else on the go, honestly.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I hope we have time to go out and see all the judging later. I know we want to take pictures and talk to the competitors too. I think we might actually have time here right away at lunchtime. But thanks so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's been lots of fun. I learned lots today. So I learned about New Brunswick, and I can't wait to hopefully see you guys out in Regina. Come out to Skills.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'd love to come out.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
Awesome. Thanks, Max.
Yeah, you bet. And for all the people that have been following along, thanks so much for being a part of the podcast. Remember to download, share, and also our fan mail feature. You know, we're collecting all these fan mails that we're getting because we're going to start doing them in reels. We got a plan. Trust me, the ones you've been sending in haven't just disappeared into the void of the internet. We are keeping them. And yeah, keep sending us information. We love to hear it. And we'll catch you at the next one.
We hope you enjoyed the show.